ascription to the unknown God, whom therefore you ignorantly worship. Him declare unto you, God that made the world and all the things therein, seeing that he is Lord of the heaven and the earth, dwelling not in temples made with hands, neither is worship with men's hands as though he needed anything, seeing he giveth to all life and breath and all things, and had made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and had determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitation, that they should seek the Lord, if happened they might feel after him and find him, though he be not far from every one of us. For in him we live, we move, we have our being, as certain also your own poets have said, for we are also his offspring. For as much then as we are the offspring of God, we ought not to think that the Godhead is like unto gold or silver or stone or graven by art and man's devices. And the times of this ignorance God winked at, but now commanded all men everywhere to repent. Why? Because he had appointed a day in which he would judge the world in righteousness by that man, and you know who that man is, Jesus, whom he had ordained or commissioned, wherein he had given assurance unto all men in that he had raised him from the dead. I want to preach on this subject, standing on the platform of God. That's what I want to preach about. G called it already. Standing on the platform of God. If I had to simplify it more, I would use this interchangeable controlling thought. I would say standing on the Savior's stage. Standing on the stage of God. My brothers and my sisters, it is a great honor to be used by God anytime and anywhere. It's even a greater honor when God elevates you to be on a stage to represent him. And usually when God allows someone to be on the stage, it is evident he has spent some time with them and he trusts them to not to disappoint him on the stage. People who God put on the stage, they stand out among those that stand out, but they're not stuck up when they stand out.
Amen. My Lord.
Because they know the stage is not theirs, it belongs to the Lord. When God gives you a stage, it is not for you to be playing up here.
All right.
It is not to show off or to perform like you are at a theater or a circus. It is not to play games up here, because on God's stage, souls are on the line. Lives need to be changed. And people come to hear what thus saith the Lord. And so whenever God gives a pastor a stage, he must stand, watch this now, to make a statement for the Lord. Your statement must be profound. Your statement must be pure. It must be practical. It must be portable. But it must be Christ-centered. I will add, while I'm on my way to where I'm going, that whenever a child of God has been given the stage, watch this now, they stand with freedom and they stand with assurance. Because Galatians 6:1 says, stand therefore in the liberty where you were called, and be not entangled again in the bondage of sin. So if God has set you free to stand for him, you stand up with a freedom on you. And you stand up with an assurance in you. Because you know who you're standing for. Can I preach it like I feel it? Such was the case in our text today. We see the Apostle Paul on his second missionary journey here in the great metropolis city, amen, called Athens, being placed on the stage to represent the Most High God.
Yes, sir.
According to the backdrop of this scene, when Paul first arrived at Athens, he observed firsthand the great paganism in the city.
Yes.
In verse 16 of this text, Luke makes it known that the city was wholly given to idolatry. One writer suggests the dear power that the streets were so full of idols until you can find an idol there before you can find a man. Can I preach it like I feel it? This disturbed and agitated Paul because why, Dr. Power? It brought great dishonor to God. And it also brought defilement to man. And when God has his preacher or his pastor to stand for him on the stage, we always stand to bring God honor and make sure man is not going to hell. We have a responsibility to tell man that Jesus is Lord and Savior. Can I preach it like I feel it? It disturbed Paul so much until Paul, before we get to verse 22, he goes in the synagogues and he goes in the street, according to the Bible, disputing what he sees. What messes me up, y'all, is when you get to the Jewish synagogue, they are insensitive to the foolishness in the city. If anybody should challenge foolishness, it should be the church. If anybody should come against idolatry, it should be the church. But Paul gets in the Jewish synagogue and they're not even concerned about what's going on in the city. That's a crying shame. He moves from the streets. He moves from the synagogue to the streets. And one writer said he meets two poets. I don't want to call their name, y'all. And both poets have a degradation about them. One was a love of flesh, and one believed that death was a normal practice. And Paul had to deal with these bad mindsets, and so much so until his noise, watch this now, was heard abroad till they called him a babbler. A seed picker. They would insult him, say he's nobody. He's out here preaching, trying to get a little money. He don't have no substance. And you do know that when you're blind, you can't lead those who know where they're going, y'all. Because the blind can't lead the blind. Paul is not moved by what they say because he has a passion and a role he has to carry out. Because he's just left Berea. Now he's 200 miles south in Athens. And now he's here, amen, to represent God. And when he gets here, dear power, he moves from the synagogue to the streets. And he said to myself, can I paraphrase? I know this is one of the greatest cities in Greece.
My Lord.
And I know folks, they come here to sightsee, but I come to soul win. To sightsee, I come to save the city. And even though this Greek city called Athens is well known and got major science and got major university and got major culture, and other people lift their great city up, they're not great in the sight of God, because you ain't great until you get to know who God is. Can I preach it like a fish? He's moved now, amen, to Mars Hills. He goes to this place where these disputers and these so-called councilmen sit at this place and hear new opinions and new doctrines and all kind of ideas, and they dispute what goes on. And Paul took the stage. And when Paul took the stage, he had a responsibility to represent the Lord. Can I preach it like I feel it? I got three things to tell my pastor, my friend, and this church and every other pastor, that the calling of this text church is that when you take God's stage, you ought to make sure you know what you're talking about. Because people are listening to what you're saying. People are analyzing what you're not saying. And when you've been born again, you ought not be ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ, what is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believes. Paul stand and take the stage. And if you read the first three words, y'all, the text says in verse 22, y'all, that then Paul stood. Yeah, y'all. The word stood in the Greek, it really means he was standing to establish something. He was standing to say something significant. He was standing because he had something to say. And I want to tell a child of God, it's good that you know that you're still standing. I don't want to go no further until I find out you'll have about 5 people in the church. After all you've been through, you're still standing. You've been through the storm, and you've been through the rain, you've been through warfare. They say you want to go make it, and you sitting up here and can't even give God the praise. You're going to faint still standing. Just because your neighbor don't want to praise him, don't you let nobody get your praise, because they don't know what you've been through. You still standing. I need about 5 every shot. After all I've been through, I still got joy, and I'm still standing.
Oh, yeah. Show now. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I dare you look at your neighbor. If you got this Jesus, you still got the stands. You ought to walk like you're standing for Jesus. You ought to talk like you're standing for Jesus. You ought to tell the devil you gave me your best shot, but I still got my stance. I still walking with my head up. I still know that all things is working together for the good and that love God. I still come and bless his name. You can tell folks who ain't standing because they forgot who the God was that woke them up this morning. But if you know your God is good, if nobody else don't pray then, you gonna pray then, but you still stand. Get up and like a fit. Get up and like a fit. There are 3 things God shows me in this text. What Paul does when he takes this stage before all these philosophers and these so-called gatekeepers of Greece in Athens. And if you look what Paul said these words, then stood Paul in the midst of Mars Hill and said, ye men of Athens, I perceive that in all things that you are too superstitious. If you really look what Paul is doing Paul is he's standing now to what I call one expressing God's truth. Here, let me try this with y'all. Whenever you express something, it means you utter something out of your mouth that's something significant. Every time somebody gathered around Mars Hill, they spoke something forward. Now, I can't understand if God gives you a stage and everybody talking about what they're talking about, and it's time for you to talk, you don't want to express nothing. The devil is a liar. I want to tell y'all something. Impression without expression leads to depression. If God had done something for you, and when you think of his goodness and all he's done for you, your soul ought to say something because you got to express. Paul said, I'm impressed with my God. And therefore you gave me this stage, which is God's stage. I need to express the truth because you live in a lie. As a matter of fact, I'm going to speak in love because I'm not going to speak like I spoke at Berea because those were Jewish folk I spoke to. I'm speaking to heathens.
My Lord.
I'm speaking to hell raisers. I'm speaking to cutthroat folks who serve idol gods. And so I got to reason with you.
Yes, that's what he said.
And so I'm going to reason with you at your own level. I perceive that you are too superstitious. I perceive, here is y'all, that you have what I call a physical devotion on you. I perceive that you have some form of religion on you. But I do want you to know your religion ain't real. Because you're serving a false God. Praise Holy Ghost. You do have religion, but it ain't got no righteousness in it. You do have a so-called devotion, but it's void of deity. He's really trying to express truth to them, to reason with them, because ultimately the apex of the text is at the end at verse 30 to 31. But right now, Dr. Powell, he's trying to reason even with folk who don't even know who God is. And Dr. Wallace, I'm glad to report to you, beloved, God was the one that allowed you to have the 160, the 6. It wasn't just the people that did that. And so you're not obligated to the people. You're obligated to stand across here with flat-footed and speak God's truth. In the case, you got to be superstitious folk. Let me say it to y'all. As a matter of fact, he said, when I walked around your city, I came across an altar that you had on the altar called the unknown God. Come on, y'all. Y'all was so messed up. Y'all wrote on the altar an unknown God. But can I tell you something about this unknown God? I came here to make it known to you. As a matter of fact, all this intelligence, wise wisdom you got, and you don't know the God who made you, you really have a problem. I need least I want to thank God. I'm glad I know who my God is. He woke me up this morning. He put foods on the table. He makes a way out of no way. I know some of y'all don't want to shout, but let me tell y'all something. You could be religious and still lost. These folk have religion and devotion, occupied with devotion, but void of God. But old Paul took that stage.
Yes, he did.
And he expressed God's truth.
Yes, he did.
Y'all don't like me today, but I'm just trying to give a message to encourage my friend and hopefully at the same time bless Brother Bethel and say God has been good to you down the year, but please don't fear in the area of being too superstitious. Because when you look at the etymology word of too superstitious, what's it now? It literally means God fearing, not capital G-O-D, but small G-O-D. And anytime you have a small G-O-D, that's not the big G-O-D, it's a demon God. Because when you look at the word small G-O-D fearing, it really means they were demon fearing. And anytime you exclude the most high God out your life and got another God, that's a demon you're serving. And so, Lord, you don't like me then, y'all. And you gotta be careful what spirit you say you are. Try the spirit, by the spirit, and see if they are sons and daughters of God.
My Lord. Amen. My Lord. Truly, truly. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
Tell your neighbor, this is a great stage to stand on. And when you stand on it, make sure you express God's truth.
Amen. Yes. Yes. Yes.
He was speaking in front of all these intelligent people. He said, I come to make him known to you because you don't know him. As a matter of fact, you need to know him.